Guys, I asked you for a target of 100 comments in the first part of this and you completed it in a few hours, thank you so much. Today I will recap the second part, which is a summary between chapter 7 to chapter 12, but if you haven't seen its previous part yet, then watch it first, you will find its link in the description. Once Su Fei feels safe enough, now is the time to get back his dignity. Su Fei begins to argue with Xingnan, telling her that she had attacked him without reason. He gestures, showing 3 fingers, and tells her that she attacked him 3 times, 3 damn times. Xingnan gives him proper reasons, stating that her attacks were not without reason. The first time she attacked him, was because he had made a rude remark, the second time was because he showed no respect, and the third time was because he had touched her birthmark. By the time she had stated the third reason, Xingnan was already burning with anger. Su Fei was least interested and argued back, asking her, so what happened if he had touched her birthmark? Xingnan is now serious and tells him that all the women of Huangfu family have a birthmark with a phoenix pattern on their chests, but if it was touched by a man, it will dissipate. Su Fei remembers the light that had been casted out of a wound. He thinks seriously about the case. It is now that he understands that it is the birthmark behind all the light that had swirled out. Su Fei, being curious, tries to inquire more about the birthmark. He asks Xingnan what kind of magical birthmark was it and what's its function. Xingnan feels a bit awkward and gets shy. She explains that the women of Huangfu family have always been faithful and that their birthmark is in a private place and naturally cannot be touched by men. She adds that once a man touches it, they will have to marry each other. Su Fei is shocked and loses his head. What the heck? He starts screaming on the top of his lungs. He asks her, is she kidding him? How can a lifelong event be decided by a birthmark? What if her father or her brother touched it? He tells her that he will suggest a free advice for her family. Give up this bad rule as soon as possible. Xingnan is totally annoyed by him and his questions. She explains that the birthmark will only dissipate when touched by someone who is not related by blood, and the Huangfu family is by no means a rigid family. Naturally, they will not be swayed just by a birthmark. Su Fei thinks to himself that luckily, he doesn't have to marry her now. She is indeed beautiful, but she draws her sword at every turn, and that is indeed scary for him. She's also a super strong woman, which is too far away from his gentle and innocent senior sister. Xingnan crosses her hands and asks him, it doesn't look like he wants to marry her. Su Fei acts as if currently he's the most innocent person in the world and tells her that no, this is not how he feels. He is just thinking, how is this possible? He thinks he's not worthy of such a beautiful girl. Xingnan looks at him from the corner of her eye and tells him that it's fine if he doesn't want to marry her. She has a solution for it too. Xingnan simplifies his doubts and tells him, if a daughter of the Huangfu family is touched by a man, she can only kill that man except for marriage. After all, the innocence of the daughter of the Huangfu family cannot be lost. Su Fei gets excited on the thought that after killing the person, the birthmark will naturally come back. He seems to agree on this option and tells her, that's not a bad idea either. Seconds after telling her all his analysis, reality hits him hard, straight on his face. He struggles to believe what he just said. Holy shit, it's true that the Huangfu family doesn't harm their own daughters, so they just hurt the outsiders instead. Xingnan looks furiously at him and tells him that his kindness can only be paid in the next life. Su Fei instantly pleads for forgiveness and reminds her that he is the one who just saved her life and that she hasn't even returned the favor yet. Xingnan lets him know that, it is because of his kindness, she has given him the opportunity to choose. If it were for someone else, she would have directly beheaded them. Su Fei understands that he has no option but to accept. He tells her in that case he has made up his mind. He clarifies to her, let us forget everything and let's talk about marriage. He scuffles and coughs, murmuring, let's get married, my lady. Xingnan holds him up angrily and tells him that they are not married yet, so he shouldn't call her a lady. He can just call her by her name, Xingnan. He reassures her that he'll call her by her name, and she lets go of him. She elucidates, it is true that before, the women of Huangfu family could marry out, but this time, she needs him to join the Huangfu family. Su Fei was again in his own world, thinking about what to do next. Join a family? To be honest, as a modern-day young man poisoned by the soft-core culture, he does not averse to joining a family. After all, when he was young, he didn't know that rich women were so good and mistakenly regarded his senior sister as a treasure. But then, this is ancient times, anyone with some ability couldn't become a superfluous son-in-law because that's a disgrace to men. Trying his luck again, Su Fei asks her with a big, if, in front. He means that if he doesn't want to be a superfluous son-in-law, will she kill him? They both look at each other straight in the eye. Watching her getting furious, Su Fei knows there is no choice, as he can already feel her mentally stabbing him. Su Fei puts up an act and cries out that it was his luck of 3 lifetimes to be able to marry her. He doesn't care if he has to join the family or something, and laughs out loud, ha ha ha. Xingnan continues to say that he has touched her birthmark and that she could have killed him, but then he was the one who saved her life, so she can only marry him. She proudly tells him that from now on, he will be her man, that is Huangfu Xingnan's man. As long as he lives up to her Huangfu family, no one in the whole world will dare to bully him. Su Fei and Xingnan begin their journey towards the kingdom in a peaceful way. On the way back, Xingnan spots some nice-looking flowers and praises the beauty of those flowers. She has never seen such beautiful flowers in the palace. Su Fei was amazed looking at her like this. He thought to himself that she has a girly side too, so this is quite interesting. Apart from drawing the sword at every turn, Huangfu Xingnan is actually not that bad. Meanwhile, a troop of people with their leader hurried towards them. The leader called out for his marquis. All of them respectfully greeted their marquises. Xingnan acknowledges her generals and tells them they don't have to be polite. The leader steps forward and addresses her, saying that, thank God, she's safe. The heavens really have eyes. He continues explaining that when they got the news of their marquis being attacked, the entire Jinbei and Huangfu army were in chaos. She reassures them and tells them not to worry now that she's fine. After all the formalities, it was time to introduce Su Fei. She gathers everyone and lets them know how Su Fei saved her, otherwise, she would have been a corpse. She thanks him for saving her this time and addresses him as her fiancé. Each person present at the site was astonished by the word fiancé. Xingnan tells them that they heard right and that Su Fei is her fiancé. Being as silly as he can, Su Fei greets everyone and introduces himself. He tells them that he is Su Fei, and he is half a doctor. He feels great meeting all of them. The generals greet him back and thank him for saving their lord's life. The next morning they set out for the kingdom. The leader initiates a conversation with Su Fei and calls him son-in-law. He tells him that his name is Huang Qi, and he is the 3rd commander of the Qixing Iron Cavalry. Su Fei politely responds that it's nice to meet him. Huang Qi continues to question him about how he won the heart of their marquis, which Su Fei starts bragging about how Xingnan was impressed by his character and strength. Huang Qi babbles out his curiosity and tells Su Fei that let's not talk about his character. He doesn't even know how to ride a horse. How can he even talk about his strength? On being challenged, Su Fei gets enraged and starts acting smart. He asks Huang Qi, who said that he can't ride a horse. He orders them to let him down, and he will show his power to everyone. Huang Qi doubts his abilities and tells him to forget it and don't force himself. Su Fei, now being the dumbest of all, climbs up the horse and tries to show off his skills. In a split second, he is thrown off the horse and hits the ground. Huang Qi comments that he looks really weak. He doesn't know why did Lord Marquis take a fancy towards him. He feels it's very strange. Su Fei starts bragging again. He tells Huang Qi, what does he know? Xingnan had attacked him 3 times in total, and yet she couldn't hurt him at all. So naturally, she was impressed by his strength. Huang Qi tells him that his family marquis, Xingnan's martial arts, can be ranked top 3 in the world. Su Fei is shocked to learn the truth. He never thought that Huangfu Xingnan was actually that powerful. Huang Qi holds him by his neck from behind and tries to compete with him. He tells Su Fei that he's not bad. Since Su Fei is so powerful, could it be that he's underestimating him? Amid the confusion, Xingnan clarifies Huang Qi's doubts. She assures him that whatever Su Fei told him was absolutely right. When they first met, she had directly attacked him 3 times. Ironically, both of them couldn't believe what Xingnan just said. Huang Qi holds back his doubts and readily accepts Xingnan's words. He agrees to her that the son-in-law is really awesome, and he apologizes for what he said just now. He begs for forgiveness. Su Fei acts as if nothing happened and forgives Huang Qi quickly. Su Fei cannot believe his own ears. He thinks, why would Huangfu Xingnan go along with what he said? Did she truly want him to be her husband? They continue on their journey to the kingdom. A few miles before the kingdom, gossip are heard from all over the place. People start inquiring about who is in this carriage. Few of them already know that it's the fiancé of Lord Huangfu. One of them doesn't agree, he says that it's impossible. How could a hero like Lord Huangfu marry a coward, who can't even ride a horse and hides inside a carriage like this? Another one agrees to this part but has something else to say. She puts up a question, saying that didn't Lord Huangfu already have a marriage contract set up with the crown prince? A wise man amongst them reminds those gossipers by saying that do they want to die? They need to stop talking about national affairs. Hearing those gossip, Su Fei feels embarrassed and tells Xingnan that Jie should try riding a horse. Xingnan seems to care less about those stupid gossipers and replies, telling Su Fei there's no problem, if he wants to learn horse riding, he can definitely learn it slowly in the future. She adds up saying that he shouldn't care about what other people say. The scene is now shifted to the East Palace of the Imperial Palace. Scolding can be heard from afar. The workers are been criticized as trash, mere trash. Prince Zhao Zhen had asked his valet to find out some information about a person, but according to the valet, that person is being protected so well that none of them can meet the husband of Marquis of Zhenbei yet. Zhao Zhen is angered by the news and tells the valet no matter what method they use, to find out everything about that bastard. He speaks out loud, how dare that bastard rob his woman. On the other side, Huangfu Xingnan and Su Fei, along with Huang Qi, reach the Marquis Palace. Su Fei is delighted to see the house and confirms asking her, is this really your home? He quietly praises it in his mind. Xingnan tells Su Fei that she will be busy for a while and arranges Huang Qi to take him to rest for a few days. Su Fei thanks Xingnan for the arrangements and moves on with Huang Qi as planned. On the way, he questions Huang Qi, asking him that does his marquis always be this busy? Huang Qi counter-interrogates him, asking him whether he didn't knew about it. He explains further, saying that, the attack on the marquis this time is likely to be the work of her own people. After the marquis entered the palace to face the saint, she had to go to the military camp to investigate the matter. He summons by saying that, in short, the marquis has a lot going on currently and she hardly stays in the house these days. Su Fei is unable to digest the facts and asks him, why was he attacked by her own people? What's going on? Huang Qi doesn't want to let out too much of information, so he cuts him off, telling him the Huangfu family tree is very big, wait for the Lord to tell him personally about these things. They reach the place where arrangements are made for Su Fei to rest. Huang Qi introduces him to all the servants. He tells them, this is the husband of Lord Marquis, and everyone must obey his orders in the future. The servants welcome him politely and address him as their son-in-law. Su Fei tells them that they don't have to be too polite to him. Su Fei wonders why there are so many servants. The Marquis mansion is really wicked capitalism, but to be honest, he feels this is really good. A servant sets up the bath for him and calls out to him, indicating that the bath water is ready. Su Fei sighs out, he can finally be alone for a while. But then again, he feels something is so strange. After Huang Qi left, he felt that the servants looked at him with hostility. He doesn't want this to be real and hopes that he's only overthinking it. While having a bath, Best servant flung open the door and entered the bath. The pretty girl tells Su Fei that she is here to serve him. He has lost his ability to think further and tells her that this is not good. The servant girl ignores his words and removes her robe, telling him that he must have been tired all day and that she is here to rub his shoulders. Su Fei is embarrassed and covers his face with his hands. He begs her to behave herself and tells her that they still have to talk about feudal etiquette. The girl still chooses to ignore him and enters the bathtub. She sits right next to him, smiling widely, and puts her hands all over him. She flirts with him and tells him that she can't believe he is still so pure and innocent. Su Fei continues to shoo the girl out of the bath. He asks her to please get out. The servant girl behaves differently, asking him, what is he afraid of? There is no one else here. He explains that he is a very good student, how can he do this? She tells him not to worry, in that case, she'll make him whole. Su Fei is still scared, and the girl gets up and starts howling. She plays the victim and screams for help. She screams out loud, saying that son-in-law is going to molest her. Su Fei on hearing her words become dumbstruck. Other servants break into the bath and are in shock. Uncle Fu leads the team in and blames Su Fei, how does he dare to do such a thing? A servant speaks up saying that, what kind of sins did the Marquis commit to find such a man? He asks Uncle Fu about how is he going to deal with him. Uncle Fu orders to lock him in the woodshed. He adds up saying that we will wait for the Marquis to return and she will deal with him. Su Fei feels miserable and unjust. He sighs, what the heck. The girl hides behind him, smirking. The guards take Su Fei to the prison and throw him into a cell. He's pushed onto the floor and is hurt. A guard warns him to stay inside obediently. Su Fei sat forlornly thinking, what the hell are these people doing? They had actually set him up. He cribs about being locked up in the cell forever. He makes up his mind to escape from here and comes over the window. He tries to pull the iron railings but it's quite sturdy. And there were guards outside. He knew this is going to be difficult. He thinks to himself, if he knew this would have happened, he wouldn't have become a superfluous son-in-law. Failure destroys his hopes of escaping and he decides to give up. He thinks he'll sleep and lie down and die here itself. Su Fei is tired and falls asleep. In no time, he is surrounded by a yellow golden light circling around him. He hears someone calling out to him. The guard outside hears a whoosh sound from the prison, wondering what's the commotion. The other guard tells him to ignore it and that no one cares, telling him to sleep. A busy sweeper was doing his work completely absorbed in the music. A gush of wind stirs up, a thunder hits the ground, leaving the cleaner to wonder what's going on. The sweeper man goes to find out about the mess, only to find Su Fei sleeping soundly in the bushes. He mutters, what kind of students are these, sleeping here during the class? He wakes up Su Fei and lets him know that this is not a place to sleep. He warns him to get up quickly. On opening his eyes, Su Fei is shocked to see the cleaner uncle. He inquires whether he's the uncle who works as a cleaner at the school. He adds up asking him, has he crossed over too? The cleaner uncle can't understand a word and is worried after hearing the word crossover. The uncle thinks to himself that nowadays youngsters do not study well, what weird stuff do they think all day long? Su Fei takes a look at his surroundings and is surprised to find out that this is his school and he's back again. Su Fei starts to think about what had happened. Was everything before a dream? He decides to investigate the matter and asks the uncle, how long has he slept here? The cleaner uncle has no answer to his question, as he had just found Su Fei sleeping here. Uncle sees a root-like structure coming out of his pocket and asks Su Fei, what's in his pocket? Without answering, Su Fei runs towards his dorm. As soon as he opens the door to his room, his roommates start questioning him. They ask him where he was, as he hadn't returned overnight. They begin their wild guessing about Su Fei being with his senior sister for the whole night. They ask him whether he has made any new progress with his senior sister. Su Fei is too tired to answer them and replies with a plain, nothing. He lets them think whatever they want to and proceeds to rest. He tells them that he's so confused right now and he's going to sleep for a while. One of the roommate is curious and tells the other one that Su Fei said nothing. He must have definitely spent the beautiful night with senior sister. Su Fei ignores their gossips and tells them to say whatever they want to. He is not going to care about it as he's going to bed. Su Fei's roommate understands that Su Fei seems to be really tired, so they shouldn't disturb him and let him have a good rest. The other one says that he really envies this kid. Su Fei palely asks them to bring him something to eat when they come back. It was time for Su Fei to now reflect on what was exactly happening. He thinks about this whole crossover thing and wonders whether it is real or not. He goes into deep thinking. If it's real, then it's even more real that he has been through life and death several times now. And the ginseng that he found in his pocket is now become the best proof. Meanwhile, his thoughts run over to his senior sister. He wonders, what is she doing now? He picks up his phone and dials her number. He has gone through a major life and death experience, so what's the reason to be afraid of facing the feelings of his senior sister? He calls her and greets her. He tells her that it's me, Su Fei, on call. From the other end, he hears his senior sister almost breaking down. She tells him that her grandpa. Su Fei gets serious about the situation and jumps to protect his senior sister. He assures her that he's there for her and tells her not to cry. He then asks her, what happened to her grandpa? Chu Jian explains that her grandpa's health has always been poor, and he got a seizure yesterday, so he was sent to the ICU. Su Fei is concerned and asks her, in which hospital is she, and tells her that he is coming over to keep her company. Chu Jian feels the warmth in his words and tells him that he's very gentle, and that's what she likes the most about him. She adds up, saying that let's forget it, she knows how sensitive her junior brother is, seeing her family is still too much of a stretch for him. She also thanks him for his concern. Su Fei believes that his senior sister knows everything, and she knows that he doesn't have the courage to face her family. She definitely knows him better than what he had thought. Su Fei hears over the phone that they need ginseng, one that should not be artificially cultivated. At the hospital, Chu Jian's mother is ordering a man to get ginseng, which has to be naturally grown and must have been picked within a week. She tells him to pay whatever it takes to get the ginseng for her. It suddenly clicks to Su Fei that he has a piece of ginseng with him. Chu Jian tells him that she's going to keep a watch over her grandpa and that she'll wait patiently for her junior brother to get brave. Su Fei stops her and asks her whether she is looking for freshly picked wild ginseng. He tells her that he has happened to have one here with him which is definitely not picked more than a week. Chu Jian excitedly tells her mother that there's no need to find it, her junior brother has freshly picked wild ginseng on hand. Her mother argues over the statement and tells her that Su Fei is a boy from a poor family, how could he have it? She continues by saying that she thinks he just wants to get close to her, so he's making this up. Su Fei always knew that his senior sister's family would react this way to him, and that's why he tries to avoid her as much as possible. Chu Jian bravely takes a stand for her junior brother. She tells her mother that she doesn't know her junior, although he is very sensitive in emotional matters, but if he says it, he will do it. Chu Jian adds up, saying that as for him attempting to get close to her, if he really asked her out, she would have already had a child with him. He doesn't even need to say anything, she will even force him to marry her on the grounds of having his child. Chu Jian's mother, annoyed to the core, starts screaming at Chu Jian and asks her, what kind of medicine did Su Fei give her? What on earth made her, a rich family's daughter, say such things? Chu Jian decides to ignore her mother and asks her junior brother to wait for a while at the school gate, she'll ask the driver to pick him up. Her mother hisses at her, saying that she'll never allow any irrelevant person to come here. At the school gate, Su Fei is standing with his feet trembling. Although his senior sister's family doesn't want to see him, it's a matter of her grandfather's life. He has to go. A huge car stops right in front of him and the driver asks him whether he is Mr. Su. The driver explains that his miss sent him to pick him up. He asks Su Fei to get into the car. Su Fei is shocked to see such an exaggerated car. With this, its second part ends here. If you like the video, then like the video and leave a comment for the next part. I will meet you in the new video. Bye.